Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew, and welcome back to the Whatta podcast. Look at that. Episode 7. Dude, that's 7 weeks. uh, I'm doing things consistently is hard, so getting to the 7th week without missing any, it's beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. I've got my constant water with me. I've noticed everything that I do, water. There's always water. You might have heard my chair squeak as I try to scoot in. But, guys, stay hydrated, because you know what? This was recorded on Halloween. No one's going to hear it till November 1st. But October 31st, it is All Hallows Eve. Everyone's going to be out doing spooky things, being spooky characters, or, I don't know, not spooky versions of characters. I don't know, it's your choice. You dress up how you want. Can you tell that my brain just isn't functioning? I haven't left my room today. I don't intend to. I have no plans. I know it's Halloween. And someone's like, that sounds sad. And it's like, well, I'm a college student. And this is what I do. I have too much work due in just this particular week to be like, let me go see what I can throw on. Let me figure out what outfit I can do. No. Sorry. I'll be here. But yeah, cool. Let's kick right into it. Because I've got a lot of things that I've written down a lot. Like, it generally made a second page. That's how many notes I've got in the Notes app on my Samsung. Because I'm not an iPhone person, and I will never be an iPhone person. And nobody hold me to that, because while I will never be an iPhone person, if you got me a Mac, like a desktop Mac, I'd marry you on the spot. Just let that be known. They're so good for editing. I would just like to say that those desktops, real good for people that do big projects and such. And technically so is a MacBook, but I don't want a laptop. I don't want a device that after like 3 years is going to be constantly needing to be plugged in order to work, like my current laptop, which if I unplugged right now would have a moment of about 3 minutes where it will stutter about while I record this podcast before it continues on, and then it'll be needing to be plugged back in by the time the podcast is over, as in when I'm done recording. But yeah. So, what did I do today for Halloween? Well, I started off my day actually by watching a movie. That's right, I woke up, and then like 40 minutes after I woke up is when I actually left my bed, and I decided to watch Night Teeth over on Netflix. I don't know. I saw Debbie Ryan in the cast, and I went, well, this won't be that good. And then I watched it, and I've got to say, pretty good film. I actually had a very nice time while I was watching it. Admittedly, I was doing multiple things while watching it. I was messaging people, because obviously I just woke up, and there were at least 17 messages just sitting about from people that had messaged me already, and I was like, oh, I guess I got to respond to all of them. And so I was doing that while also working on all of my homework, which I have only just taken a break from in order to record this. That's how much I've got, and that's not a new amount. That isn't this was unexpectedly a lot. That's just how it is every week. It's just that today was weird. This weekend, very weird. It's been a whole thing, if I'm being honest with all of you. Maybe I'll come back to that. Maybe I won't. But I watched Night Teeth. Debbie Ryan was in it, playing a character named Blair, I think. I don't remember the other girlie's name. The girls. What's that man's name? Gru. Oh man, that's funny. I'm sitting a little further back from the mic too. I don't know if you can tell, because I decided maybe I shouldn't press up against it and lower the volume input, and I should just sit a little further back. Sit up nice and straight, help my spine out the best of my abilities. But yeah, it's a good film. If you want to check that out, I recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix film, so it's very easy to find. The premise... How do I describe the premise of this film? It's not like they're hiding it in their trailers. It's a young gent. He's like a driver. He drives a vehicle, and he's rented for the whole night to drive these two people around to all these various parties, and it turns out that they are vampires. And that's all I can give without spoiling the film. But yeah, go check it out. It's pretty good. It didn't do anything new. It wasn't trying to say anything about like current times or whatnot. It was just a nice, dumb, fun film that was so doubled down in its own story that it actually was a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of movies that I've watched that I've been like, yeah, no, this was bad. Or like movies that I've watched that I'm like, okay, well, that was pretty good. And then sometimes I'm divisive. I know some people don't appreciate all the things I do. I'm over on Letterboxd. If you've never used that, I don't often leave reviews or anything. I think Night Teeth is literally the first time I've put a review to something on there, which is funny because I've been on here for at least a couple of years at this point. I started literally on January 1st of some year. It might have been 2020. It might have been 2019. I think it was 2019, guys. You can't tell when I'm scrolling. Yeah, January 1st, 2019. So about 2 years at this point, almost 3. Oh, that's beautiful that I've been on this app. And I have some very divisive things that I've rated compared to other people's ratings. And some divisive things that I've seen. Like I gave Caddyshack 2 stars. It wasn't a good film. I gave Night Teeth 4 and a review. And I'm sure someone will be upset about it. But that's enough about Night Teeth. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. I'm not sponsored. I just thought it was good. And I'd like to know your guys' opinions on it. If you want to talk about it, if you do watch it, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to converse, see what everyone else thinks. Maybe you also think it's a good film for what it is, or maybe you also think it's a trash film. They set up a lot of stuff at the beginning, and they surely do pay it off by the end, and I thought that was pretty solid. So, moving on, what do we have in here? Oh, yes. Something I wanted to address. These next two things, they're slightly more serious, but one, I got an ad, right? I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of YouTube, you know? It happens. I'm sure you guys have all seen the variety of ads that you get on YouTube. Sometimes you might be hearing about Dr. Squatch soap, and other times you're hearing an ad from the CDC about stopping overdose. And that's the one I'm particularly going to talk about. I got an ad. This is the first time I've ever seen this ad, right? And it was issued by the CDC. And the premise of the ad was to inform people that if they're going out, like to party or hang with people, and they know that there's the chance that someone they know at that party will overdose, to take, it's a very specific drug name. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. And I'm sure if I went looking for it, I'd find it very quickly, because I did write down the CDC website, cdc.gov/stopoverdose. That's the link they wanted you to go to. Right? Naloxone? Yes. It can reverse the effects of overdose from opioids, including heroin and fentanyl. Which, look, I'm not going to knock that. That's amazing. If that's just something that we as a regular society are able to carry on us and then be able to help someone who we already knew was going to and you see where it starts to derail, right? You see where it starts to derail. To derail. That didn't sound right. Because the point of the ad wasn't, hey, let's stop drug use. No. The point of the ad was to say, hey, you, person not doing drugs, can you please carry this item on you because you know someone who does do drugs that could potentially overdose, and it will save their life. And I felt that was such a weird thing to witness, because it means we've entered this age as people where it's not just a matter of getting people to stop doing drugs, but it's also a matter of prepping people who aren't using the drugs to carry an item to help save the people who are doing the drugs. And I was like, guys, that's a little insane when you think about that, because that's That's almost like giving a free pass, right? Is that just me who thinks that? I feel like that's like giving a free pass to people, because now you've told the person doing the drugs, oh, hey, if something happens to you and you overdose, don't worry. I've got naloxone and I can save you. So suddenly it's less a matter of, oh my god, am I gonna mess myself up? Am I gonna die tonight? And more of a, oh well, if I go down, I know Steven over there is gonna save me. No, that's not the thought process we want to put in people's minds. Never. Now, yes, people should probably carry this item, and if I could get my hands on it, I would. Not because I know people that'll overdose, but just in case I encounter that situation, it would be nice to be prepared. Because that's such a very, not specific thing, but such a major thing. But it's just so weird that we've hit this point of not just telling people to, trying to get them to go get help and like avoid drugs. But now it's like, well, we know people are going to use drugs and there's nothing we can do about it except prep the people not using drugs to save the people using drugs with drugs. I'm just like, that's so weird. It's weird to me, you know? Obviously, everyone, you should go to cdc.gov/stopoverdose. I'll probably put it down in the link because, you know, the issues related to drugs are humongous. It affects a lot of people, and I'm not trying to knock that. I would never knock that. As someone who's seen how people can be, even with lesser things that you can still be addicted to, such as alcohol and cigarettes, nicotine, it hurts. It's heartbreaking. My own uncle passed when I was very young because, you know, he smoked so much. And even when they had him on like a machine to help him breathe, he was still smoking, because it's just at that point where they're like, well, I'm already this deep in it, I may as well keep going. And it's a disheartening thing. And every day I think about how different lots of things would be if he was still around. And it's a thought that just sits with me. And I've seen other people deal with things. I remember a good friend of mine through pretty much most of my childhood. His father used dip a lot, and I remember the day because I was a scout. I don't know if you know this, but I was a Cub Scout and also a Boy Scout for a long time. Didn't get my Eagle, and that's okay because I did what I could. And then when I started to enjoy doing other things, I made my leave. But I remember the day that this good friend of mine, I love his parents. They're great people. But I remember when his father came in, and he's like, "You guys notice anything?" And we were like, "Nope, not at all." So this would have been in Boy Scouts, which is what, 5th grade onward, middle school onward. I don't know. And he was like, "I don't got my spit bottle," you know. He was quitting. He was quitting dip, and we were so ecstatic and so like happy, and it's such a wild thing to think about, like both how fucking difficult that is to do that. That's amazing, absolutely amazing, and also just like it's such the little things, because you don't think about that. Like I'd seen him with the bottle that he spit into like all the time, because I almost feel it was the same bottle, but I don't know. You can't quote me on that. But to just like that little factor to just get taken away and to just change so much, and you don't think about that. So like obviously the people who use these substances and use the more egregious substances, you know, like your heroines and whatnot, they all need help. So go to cdc.gov/stopoverdose. Take a look at all of that. Maybe try to get, if you know anyone who is at risk like this, try talking to them. That's most of the advice I can give, because I am no legal counsel on this subject matter. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm just going to go over this real quick, because I felt weird about it. So, as we know, James Michael Tyler, who is an actor, passed away. He played the character Gunther on Friends. Now, I've never seen. I don't watch Friends, but I did indeed recognize this character. He's the only person outside of the main cast that I do recognize from the show, even though I didn't know his name. I know a couple of the other characters' names, but I didn't know his, but I did recognize him. And I just felt really weird when I saw, like, people I knew, like friends of mine, posting about his passing and saying goodbye using his character name, like using Gunther rather than his real name. Look, obviously, I'm not a famous person, and I'm not those people, but this was such a weird thing for me, because I was like, this is a real human, guys. This is an actual human being that has passed away, and your mentionings of them are all using the name of this fictional character that he played, as though either there is no separation from James Michael Tyler and Gunther, or that you only see them as Gunther and not James Michael Tyler. And so I wanted to toss that out there as a thing, like, guys, if a famous person you know, we don't know famous people. If a famous person passes, respect that. Respect that they were a person who played probably a variety of characters and enjoyed their time here while they were here. Don't give your condolences towards them as a fictional character. That's just so odd. Also, I'm going to drink some water because my throat is very dry suddenly. Like, if Harrison Ford passed, I'd feel so weird if people were like, today we say goodbye to Han Solo. Or if they were like, today we say goodbye to Indiana Jones. I'd be like, no. Today we say goodbye to Harrison Ford. Thank you for giving us such immortalized characters as Han Solo and Indiana Jones. That's what you say. You don't say goodbye to Han Solo, quote unquote, or Indiana Jones, quote unquote, because that's not Harrison Ford. All right? Harrison Ford is his own person. Okay? You wouldn't say goodbye to Dr. Richard Kimball after he yells, "You switched the samples." Okay? You'd say goodbye to Harrison Ford. Anyways, I'm so sorry if something happens between today and tomorrow that suddenly makes this Harrison Ford talk a little more intense, but I sure hope not. He is old though, so hey, keep kicking, Ford, please. Thanks, or else this audio will make the rounds for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, just wanted to pop that up. Cool. So on to the funnier things. Hey guys, did you know that there are 14 Land Before Time movies? Because I didn't. I did not until a couple nights ago. Sometime in the past week, obviously, I watched I watched an hour-long video where someone ranked all 14 of the Land Before Time movies. Which is how I learned that there were 14, which I think is ridiculous. Not just because there's 14, but then I learned that there was a 15th on the way. And I said, ooh, what? To clarify, if you want to go watch this for yourself, it's a Jenny Nicholson video. I will also try to put it down in the link, along with the CDC thing. I found Jenny Nicholson because I watched, what's that, man? Nick is Not Green. I watched a Nick is Not Green. Oh, no. I watched a video from Green is Not Nick. Where he mentioned a video I got recommended but didn't want to watch, and that was her thorough roasting of the Dear Evan Hansen movie, which I already have. I have my own set of gripes with the fact that movie exists. I'll come back to that. So I watched it, and it led me down this rabbit hole where I watched a bunch of other videos from her, so I got more recommendations of videos that she's made, and I got the Land Before Time one. And I was like, oh, I remember this movie, mainly just Littlefoot, and that annoying little pterodactyl, ? Don't know what he is. But learning that there was 14 of them broke my brain for a bit, because they're apparently just all being sold at Walmart. That's right. Did you want a 14 DVD set of Land Before Time movies? You can get it at Walmart for $30, which is honestly a steal. What? $30? 14 movies? Cool. But yeah, no, the franchise is really kicking, because if you didn't know, it started in 88, 88, 83. I think it was earlier. I think it was 83. Not gonna Google it. But it was in the 80s. Okay. The 14th film came out in 2016. Guys, if another one comes out, that is a franchise that has been kicking for over 30 years. Let these dinosaurs die. Please? Who's still acting? Who's still voicing these characters? Why is the Triceratops father named Daddy Tops? Who thought of that? Who said that was okay? Why is one named Sarah, but then we have characters like Littlefoot and Daddy Tops, and then Sarah? Is her last name Tops? It's the Triceratops. It's the Triceratops' daughter. Why are all the sequels musicals when the original wasn't? Why are they all longer than the original? Why is Daddy Tops such a racist? Oh, that you think that's a joke? No, guys. Daddy Tops, very much a racist. He hates every dinosaur that isn't a Triceratops, and once he likes a dinosaur that isn't a Triceratops, he hates every new dinosaur that shows up, and just continues to base his hate on the fact that the other dinosaur is weird and different from him, or the ones he's come to know. Why is he so racist? But yeah, I just needed to bring to the attention of the entire internet that there are that there is 14 Land Before Time movies, and that they're still making more of them. Why? Why are they musicals? Who said that? Who said that it needed to have music? Because I think that pitch meeting went, how do we extend the runtime of these movies? And someone else said, well, sir, we can put music in. And if we put some music in, it'll get long. And that's it. And that was the whole statement. Is my nose stuffy? Sure sounds like it. Oh, do you hear that breath? I think it is stuffy. But yeah, the Land Before Time movies are kicking. I don't know how there's this many stories to tell in the Land Before Time, all involving these characters who are still children after almost 30 years. I'd like to see them grow up, and I'd like my nose to stop being so stuffy. Ooh, didn't like that. Gonna drink more water. Could I cut out the silence of me drinking water? I sure could. Will I? No. Enjoy me drinking my water. Alright, so that's the Land Before Time. Reading these is wild. So, I took a deep dive with a friend of mine into the late 2000s, early 2010s. No, not even the late. Just the 2000s in general. Where we got the probably largest collection of star-studded animated romps. Like, that was such a weird craze. Now, I know, we get our, constant yearly dose of Disney and Pixar, which, of course, is star-studded animated romps, but not to the same degree. Like, I know for me personally, if I watched Coco, if I watched Coco, I couldn't tell you the name of any of those voice actors. Couldn't ever. But if you told me to think about Finding Nemo, I also could only give you, Ellen DeGeneres. That was a bad example. But then we get to some of the others, right? What's that movie? Shark Tales. When you think Shark Tales, you automatically think, oh yeah, Will Smith, but a fish. Will Fish. Will Smith, Will Fish. Will Smith, Fish Will? Yes. What? What was that? And then you remember, oh yeah, Angelina Jolie's in here. Oh, and Renee Zellweger. Oh, and Jack Black. Oh, and is that Robert De Niro? Martin Scorsese? Whoa. What are you doing here? And then your brain explodes because then you realize Dougie Doug and a Marley child, one of the children of Bob Marley, is also in the movie, and you're just like, what is happening? And then you go to another movie of the sort, like if you switch on over to Surf's Up, right? And you're like, oh, Shia LaBeouf. Oh, what's this? Professional surfboarder Kelly Slater playing Kelly? The penguin version of themselves? Why are famous people in here? Happy Feet? Elijah Wood? Hugh Jackman? What? Like, what was happening in the early 2000s and just all of the 2000s where every animated movie had at least 6 famous people? I forgot to mention Robin Williams was also in Happy Feet. I don't know if you remember this. Robin Williams he's in Happy Feet, playing 2 separate characters, and one of them is maybe possibly a racist caricature, but we're not going to talk about that. And everyone just ate those movies up. We just ate them up. Like, everyone loved. I think we own a copy of Happy Feet at home. I can promise you we own at least 2 copies of Shark Tale. I'm pretty certain we do. Or we did. There's Flushed Away. Isn't that Hugh Jackman again? I actually can't remember for that one. I think Hugh Jackman's in Flushed Away too. But I feel like I know that having famous people in your like animated movie is the draw to bring adults in and maybe like a teenager, but not children. In the 2000s, what child is going to know who Hugh Jackman is? He's played Wolverine like 3 times at this point, and those aren't movies for children. The X-Men movies, maybe teens, not kids. Not to bring them into Happy Feet. What? Also Elijah Wood? Hey now, I haven't seen The Lord of the Rings, and the internet will murder me for admitting that here. But let me inform you of something. There is a movie that came out between Elijah Wood doing Lord of the Rings and Elijah Wood being Mumbles? Right? That was his name? In Happy Feet? Were we ever going to discuss that really mean name that they gave their main character because he can't sing and instead dances and then was outcast for it? Anyways, there's a movie that came out between the end of Lord of the Rings and him being in Happy Feet, and it was Sin City. It was Sin City. Now, I don't know if you've seen Sin City, and if you have, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't like it. It's an okay film for what it is. If someone wants to talk about modern day, or what is it? Neo-noir films, which is just what a noir film is now called, if it wasn't made back in the black and white times when they were popular. Anyways, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but Elijah Wood, he's not playing a good guy in that film. He sure isn't. He's playing one of the creepy bad guys. Very creepy. He jumps around, wears glasses, and by the end of the movie, when he dies with a smile on his face, his limbs are removed and he's left to be eaten by wolves. Sorry, should have warned you. He's left to be eaten by wolves after his limbs are removed, and he's just so happy about it. Because he was a creepy murderer throughout the whole movie and got the ending that he deserved. And someone looked at that guy and probably erased that whole movie from his head. Probably erased Sin City from the entirety of his thought process. And said, oh yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings. Well, let's bring him. Yes, okay. I know that people audition for these parts, alright? I also know that sometimes some people are brought in for these parts. It really just depends, you know? But, come on. The idea that the year before he goes and plays this happy little penguin who does his dance to go tell all the humans about the tragedy that is occurring, like with their with their penguin people, he was hopping around being a little murder boy alongside Bruce Willis. I don't remember who else is in that movie. I know The Spirit had Samuel L. Jackson, but that's a different movie. That's not Sin City. Looked like it though. But it's just so goofy to think about. It's like, oh yes, let's go get the little hoppy murderer man. Got his limbs removed and he was eaten by wolves. Let's put him as our main character in this children's film. Crazy. I probably sound insane. I definitely sound insane. Oh, hey. So I know I mentioned Jumper, I think last time, or the time before that. It's not streaming anywhere. I did want to talk about Jumper on the podcast originally, but it is nowhere to be found. How? Nail. It got caught in the fabric of my pants. It's fine. It didn't mess up. That would have been scary. And I probably would have been a little more vocal about that. But, yeah, I couldn't find Jumper anywhere, which is a little disheartening because one day I would like to thoroughly talk about Jumper. So instead, I will just inform you of why I think Jumper needs to be talked about. So Jumper stars Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson, who were both in the prequel films, the prequel Star Wars movies, even though they were not both. Samuel L. Jackson was definitely much more famous by this point, in which Jumper came out, which I think was 2009. Yes, the movie. 2008. I was close. What was I? Like 7? Yes. No, I was 6 when it came out, but I turned 7 that year. But yeah, Hayden Christensen plays a character named David Rice, which is the worst name. And the whole premise is that he's got the ability to, like, instantly transport himself anywhere. Literally anywhere. As long as he can visualize what the space looks like. So he has to have seen it. Then he can go there. So that's Hayden Christensen's character. The main character, right? Just instantaneous transport. So he steals money to get by, right? Which doesn't make sense. Why would you ever rob a bank? You can instantaneously transport? Hey, man, go into an armored car. Don't go into the bank vault. Go into an armored car. A lot less cameras that are gonna see you. Anyways, I hope I didn't give any ideas to anyone out there who can suddenly instantaneously transport, because I wouldn't know what to do. But yeah, he's... How do I describe this? Oh gosh, Jamie Bell was in this movie? I'm reading the description here about the film as I try to talk about it real quick. You know, one of those things that someone else would say, hey, why didn't you do that beforehand? And to them I say, hey, shut up. I do what I want. No, I'm joking. Kristen Stewart was in here? Doing what? Why? Was she playing a young version of another character or something? No, she wasn't. Michael Rooker? Why were there famous people in this movie? Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson's character and his group of just, I don't know, little murder men, they develop a way to stop the Jumpers from using their power. Because, yeah, Jamie Bell plays another Jumper in this movie. Because there's more than one. Because apparently in this universe that Jumper takes place in, the only power someone could possibly get is the ability to instantaneously transport. And I think that's hilarious. Because it's such a lame power. It's such a lame power. No, it's not. It's kind of cool. But it's such a lame power for it to be the only power in the world. And only these 2 people seem to have it. No, there's a third one, I think. I think we see someone get murdered by Samuel L. Jackson and his team of murder men, as I will call them. Not to be confused with the Mystery Men, led by Ben Stiller. But, yeah, it's just, you would think that there would be some more exciting way to go about having someone just transport themselves somewhere, right? And, like, to make it fun. But no. There's a whole fight scene between Jamie Bell and Hayden Christensen's character, right? Where they're jumping around, like, while fighting each other, and it just looks so dumb. It just looks so bad. I was like, oh my god. Like, thinking back on it, I remember thinking, wow, this is so cool. Like, whoa. And I didn't know who Hayden Christensen was when this came out because I hadn't seen Star Wars yet. So I was just like, wow, look at this guy. He's jumping. He lives on his own. And, like, he can go anywhere. Whoa. Oh man, thinking back on this movie is so wild. It's not good. Like, obviously, if you want to have some just fun, like if you just want to put something on and just kind of maybe laugh at it, or just shut off your brain, because that's the thing people do. They'll put on a movie specifically so that they can shut their brain off and just be like, yeah, brain be off, and I zone out, like that. This would be that movie. There's a weird disparaging site here. As I look at the scores from IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic, the lowest one being Rotten Tomatoes, obviously, at a 15%. The highest being the IMDb score, which is a 6.1 out of 10, which is you guessed it, 61%. Which is weirdly high compared to that 15%. I don't know what IMDb enjoyed about this movie so much to give it a rating that high, but yeah, here we are. There's a song called Jumper. Interesting. Yeah, no, what a weird film this was. Is everyone else as excited as me to see Hayden Christensen return as what's that man's name? Anakin Skywalker. I really forgot his name like instantaneously. Yeah, because I think I am. I'm real excited for it. The guy from the Pacifier, I was wondering why he looked familiar. Sorry. As I Googled about Jumper, I forgot to, obviously, Hayden Christensen wasn't playing the child version of himself at the beginning of the movie and in all the flashbacks. It was a different actor. His name is Max Theriot. And I was like, your face is familiar to me, Max. And it's because he was in the Pacifier, which, oh boy, have you guys seen the Pacifier? Because that is, So the Pacifier, we're just going to jump into this. It's a 2005 movie, a 2005 Disney movie, right? For those who don't know, it's a Disney film, and it flopped hard. Wow, look at that. It's got a 5.6 out of 10. IMDb has rated the Pacifier worse than Jumper by 0.5 points, but still, that's a lot. Rotten Tomatoes rated it higher, 21%. That's insane. Metacritic rated it lower. I don't know how to feel about any of those scores. But anyways, Vin Diesel plays a Navy SEAL, right? He plays a Navy SEAL named Shane Wolf, which is the most Tom Clancy book name I've ever read in my life. I don't know how many people know it, but the Tom Clancy things that you keep seeing pop up everywhere, from the movies to the shows to the video games, they're all based off of books written by, you guessed it, Tom Clancy. And somehow Shane Wolf sounds like he's ripped right from one of those games, one of those books. But so Vin Diesel plays an elite Navy SEAL who fails to keep a scientist safe from assassination, which, hey, very large. It's literally the catalyst for the entire rest of the plot. And if there's one thing that Disney doesn't do well, it's violence in their kids' films. Because obviously this movie's rated PG because it's got a little violence, right? But every bit of violence after this initial set of violence is played for laughs. Because they don't properly, it's never addressed properly. And I was always so confused as a kid, right? Because we had this one on DVD as well. I'm a DVD man, if you couldn't tell. My family was a VHS family. What? What did I just say? A VHS? A VHS family before the VHS player stopped spitting the VHSs back out. So it was like, if you want to watch this, you've got to be prepared to struggle to get it out for the next 10 minutes. But I was always so confused because I didn't understand what was happening, because they never let you hear the sound of like a gunshot. So I would have to assume it's like a sniper rifle, right? That's shooting at them. But you just see Vin Diesel and this scientist who is he played by? Tate Donovan, which doesn't matter because he's in the movie for like 30 seconds. They get onto like a helicopter, right? And he goes to the pilot. Vin Diesel goes to the pilot, and he tells him to go ahead and take off. And like he taps his shoulder, and he does the head slump forward thing. And you're like, oh no, he's dead. Except I didn't know that. I didn't. Oh my gosh, Tate Donovan voiced Hercules? Huh. No wonders they gave him such little screen time. They would have had to pay him so much. But so the pilot slumps forward, and then Vin Diesel realizes what's going on, and he yells out to someone, and then he just like there's the sound of like a tiny impact as he slams into the like back wall of the helicopter, and just slides down, and then it just fades to black, and that's the opening of the Pacifier, right? And so then later on you learn that like he's been reassigned because whatever thing that they were looking for, the Hercules didn't have. So they're like, you're being assigned to his family, you're gonna keep them safe. And I'm like, hey, if the elite Navy SEAL with his team of elite Navy SEAL people couldn't keep the one singular scientist man safe from being assassinated, what makes you think he can protect his entire family of like 6 kids? Which, by the way, if I was a cool scientist dude doing such crazy things that an elite Navy SEAL team has to come and get me, maybe I don't want 6 kids. Like, not to be rude, but he's got a lot of kids in this film. There's 4 kids, because I don't think we ever see the wife. Yeah, so he's got at least 4 children. One of them played by that girl from Pitch Perfect. Is that correct? Not Anna Kendrick. Yeah, the other one, Brittany Snow. Don't know who she was in Pitch Perfect. I just remember her face. So he's got like 4 or 5. Oh no, there was a baby. Okay, he's got like 5 kids, right? 5 kids. Why would you want that many children when you're doing such dangerous things? That seems insane to do. That's just setting them up for such a sad life. So yeah, Vin Diesel is like, well, I'm gonna protect these kids. And all the kids hate him. Oh, if I read the description, it would tell me that he's got 5 children. I'm so dumb. And a pet duck. They did have a pet duck. Did forget about that. So he's supposed to protect them while also trying to find the thing. The big world-ending secret thing, right? That the kids don't know about. I don't even think he ever properly explains what happens to their father. But, 1, you learn that the Pacifier, right, is a move. It's a move that Vin Diesel's character knows. I don't know if it's a real move in the world, but it was a thing. It happens in the movie. They have that one guy who I'm only remembering as Lemony Snicket, right? No, the other one. What are you, Brad Garrett? You're in something with Raymond, right? Yeah. Everybody Loves Raymond or something? Yes. Everybody Loves Raymond. That guy. Not Raymond. the guy with the deeper voice. He's in there. And there were so many weird plot points in this movie. Because obviously, like, there's a point where he gets the children to like him as they, like, do things. And then but there's also, like, he helps out all of the kids with, like, their own subplots. Like, he's over here doing side quests in this movie. He helps the one girl and her, like, Girl Scout troop sell cookies because there's this Boy Scout troop that's always messing with them and, like, messing up their cookies. And so he teaches all the girls how to fight and defend themselves. It's a whole thing. It's very goofy. The son, the oldest son of all the children, that would be the one played by Max Theriot, who we've gotten to this movie from because of Jumper. He There's a moment where the movie tries to imply to you that he's a Nazi. They try to imply that this teenager in high school is a Nazi because the gym coach, played by the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond, that isn't Raymond, finds the armband in his locker, right? And he refuses to explain to them why he has it. So they're like, hey, dude, this is a messed up thing to have. Can you please explain? And like an idiot, because, hey, look, as I take off my glasses, I'm sure you heard it, maybe. If you are found with the swastika in your locker, please tell the world why. If it's not as nefarious as we're going to assume it is, because you find out that it's because he's in a production of The Sound of Music. He's in a production of The Sound of Music, where he's playing the boy, the 16 going on 17 boy, who comes back at the end as a Nazi and then tries to betray the family as they're trying to escape. Hey, if you haven't seen The Sound of Music, spoiler alert, he's a douche. That character in The Sound of Music. And it's also, I don't know, like 80 years old at this point, so that's on you. If you didn't want it spoiled, you had plenty of time. But yeah, he's in a production of The Sound of Music. One, why he took that costume piece home, the world will never, not home. He didn't take it home. That would be a separate conversation. He took it to school, because he's not doing the performance with the school. He's doing it in this like hunky-dunky, down little production group, right? And it doesn't make sense. And it's like, hey, you could have avoided this all and avoided having your, was it principal? Oh my god, he wasn't a gym coach, he was the vice principal, Ray Romano. Not Ray Romano, the other guy from Everybody Loves Raymond. His name is Brad Garrett. He has a nice voice. You could have had your principal and vice principal not think you were a Nazi if you just told them, you know? So Vin Diesel helps with that side quest, because when he breaks in to figure out what Nazi meeting this guy is going to and finds out he's just in a musical, their director quits, which, hey, is this a little down theater thing, or did you guys all collectively say we want to put on a show and this guy was going to direct? Because why is he quitting? Because Vin Diesel takes over and directs it. In case you didn't know, that's another subplot, is he directs this musical, while also getting closer to the principal, played by the voice of Azula. I wish that was a joke. It might be a joke. Let's find out. It was a joke. I was incorrect. Wrong person. This is the lady from Gilmore Girls. I don't watch that. I wish it was the voice of Azula. That would have been so much funnier. But yeah, so he directs the musical. He helps the Girl Scouts. I don't know what he does for the other ones. He helps the baby be a good baby. Duh. It's a baby. Lo and behold, you find out that the thing they're looking for is down in like a secret space underneath the home. So it was in the home, which means that none of the... Did the military not think, hey guys, so the scientist man that we were trying to rescue didn't have the thing we were looking for on him and he's dead. Should we look in his home? And someone said, go in his home? Why would we do that? And then they cackled as they backflipped out of the fucking window. Oh my gosh, this movie is so ridiculous the more I think about it. So you find out that the neighbors next door are the people who have been sent by the evil people. It's never explained who they work for properly. Not that I remember. Not that I think the movie wants you to remember. You just know that they're suddenly evil, even though they're there the whole movie, and you just think, oh, look at these harmless, not American people named the Chuns. They don't get first names. It's just Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Chun, and they're the villains. The end of the film, and there's a whole thing where you find out that the father would sing this bedtime song to the kids, and the bedtime song is like the dance that you need to know in order to get through and unlock the secret thing to get the thing. Is that ever explained? What the thing is that they're trying to get? Someone let me know, because I refuse to watch this movie again. Oh my gosh. I didn't think I was going to talk about the Pacifier for like 20 minutes. That's what it feels like. I know it hasn't been that long. But that movie's so ridiculous. There's such weird points. Oh my god, that was the other subplot. He teaches the oldest daughter to drive because she's trying to get her license. There's four? There are 5 children. But I can only think of 4 subplots. There's the musical, there's the Girl Scouts, there's the learning to drive. One of them is a baby. So, duh. He's gonna care for the baby. And I can't remember what the other subplot is, or if it even existed. But there's so many. There's a moment in early on, because he puts like trackers on all of them, so that you always know where they are in case something happens. Because their father died under his care, and one of them like throws it in the sewer. So he goes tracking after it, and this man jumps into sewer water. Into poo-poo water, because he thinks he's tracking down one of the kids to save them. He's not. It's so funny to me, because I just remember thinking it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen, to watch this man emerge hand first with the tracker in hand from the poo-poo water. Oh man, what a movie. What an awful film that will live rent-free in my mind for the rest of my life. Every time I try to think about what early 2000s Vin Diesel was doing. Because, hey, I don't know about you, but Vin Diesel has the most eclectic film collection you've ever looked at when you move out of the Fast and Furious collection, right? Because he's everywhere. And he's nowhere. And he's in so many good things, and then in so many bad things, all at the same time. Hey, we know that Vin Diesel is Groot, all right, with Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel, just in general. We know it. Yeah. Did you know that he was in Saving Private Ryan? Because I know. I'm not going to tell you what he's doing there, because he's there for like maybe 3 minutes. But he's there. You know what else I know? That he voices the Iron Giant. Fantastic film. Greatest animated movie. Not of all time, but just it might be of all time. I don't know. I don't think I've actually seen anything that surpasses anything that the Iron Giant presented to me as a film. But it's up there. This episode's getting long. The Halloween episode is got nothing Halloween-y to it. But it's just so many random movies. What is Knockaround, guys? Boiler Room? Strays? Vin Diesel, what were you doing? There was a Kane and Lynch movie? No, there wasn't. That's a joke. That has to be a joke. And there's no way Vin Diesel was attached. Do you guys remember when The Last Witch Hunter came out? Almost 7 years ago? Starring Vin Diesel as the Last Witch Hunter? Exactly. What is his movie collection? What is his life? Pitch Black is great. The Chronicles of Riddick was not. And you know what? Right after the Chronicles of Riddick is when he did the Pacifier. Bloodshot, that I forgot came out last year, that I went and saw in theaters with my family. A trash heap. An absolute trash heap. Oh my gosh, Vin Diesel, what is your life? What is your life? Have you ridden the ride? Have you ridden your Universal ride, Vin Diesel? Please tell me you have. Someone give me footage of Vin Diesel riding that Universal ride, because it's terrible. I'd like to see him get off and pretend that he had fun, because that will suddenly make everything that I had to deal with in getting on that ride so much funnier. To watch him lie through his teeth. Anyways, that's where I'm going to leave this off, because it's getting way longer than I thought it was going to be. So thank you guys so much for listening. I talked about a lot and got distracted by a lot. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of What a Thought. If you liked it, don't tell me. I thought that was hilarious. And no one can tell me otherwise. Do tell me. If you enjoyed, go ahead, tell me. If you don't, tell me why. I want to know if it's a genuine reason or if it's just that you don't like me. And if it's that you don't like me, send that to my DMs in my social media, which you can find in the link down in the description. That's right. There's a whole link down there, and it'll give you all the other links to all the other things that I do, including my Twitch and my gaming YouTube and the 2 social media accounts. It'll also technically give you the link to the podcast, but you're already listening, so you don't need that one. I hope everyone had safe Halloweens. If you dressed up, tell me what as. I know I've got a friend dressing up as Black Widow. That's it. That's all no. I've got another friend dressing up as Bride Lydia from Beetlejuice. So like when she's in the process of going to marry Beetlejuice. That's it. That's all the people I know that are dressing up. I myself am not dressing up, only because I'm not going out. Because after this, I have to record another thing, and then I will be back to my homework. That's right. I don't get a life, guys. I live in my room at this point. That's kind of what it feels like. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to keep an eye out for next week's episode. I post weekly with the podcast, and I hope everyone enjoys when I post. Because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking about things. I sometimes get on tangents that lead you to having to remember movies like The Pacifier. So thanks again. I've been Matthew. Check out everything else, and I'll see all of you over here next week.